podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.
Blueberry.
This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
The Big G, Tokyo Town, StompDown.
It's the Big G, Tokyo Town, StompDown, and we're glad you're here for another episode. I'm Kim Brown.
I'm TC Kirkham. We're getting closer and closer to May 31st and the release of Legendary's brand new Godzilla King of the Monsters. Mm-hmm. Q. There you go. With Millie Bobby Brown, Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, and a few other people.
A bunch of other people. Who cares? Godzilla!
And not just Godzilla.
No.
This one has all manners of monsters,
yes,
including 4 we've never seen.
Yes.
So you want
and 3 we have.
And 3? There's 4.
What?
Oh, well, Godzilla is the 4th one. Rodan, King Ghidorah, Mothra.
Yeah.
Okay. Not giving anything away. It's all in the commercial.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are up to another reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Kick, reboot.
Yeah,
You'd think this was Marvel. Anyway.
Ow. Okay.
Or DC.
I was going to go with DC, but you beat me to it.
The movie is Godzilla 2000 Millennium. By the way, it's May 23rd, 2019. Mm-hmm. And we are on day 23. And the 23rd film in the Godzilla franchise and Tokyo's second full reboot, Toho's second full reboot of the franchise, which they had done previously with the Heisei. Now they're doing it again with the Millennium. It actually, again, starts up as a direct sequel to 1954's Gojira.
Yeah.
So, which really is scary considering this movie. There is so much. I can't get into it. I've only seen the last 20 minutes of it, but anyway.
Okay.
Go right ahead, darling.
All right. Now, in this film, they actually come right out and say that they feel that Godzilla is literally is a force of nature. That he's like any other large, natural event.
But they do think he's nature connected to Japan.
Yes. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He's not showing up in Moscow and wrecking stuff. It's just Japan. He's like anything else that's, like I said, a nature... I don't know if catastrophe event is the word I want, but something like a fire or an earthquake or a flood or a tsunami or whatever like that.
They know a lot of those, too.
Huh?
They know a lot of those, all 4 of them, too. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. So there is this group of people that are called the Godzilla Prediction Network. Would you please explain to me why that's so bloody funny?
I can just see the talking heads on GPN now. Godzilla Protection Network.
Prediction.
Prediction Network.
It's not a protection network. Oh, that's putting images in my head.
Godzilla Prediction Network. I predict that Godzilla will win the Kentucky Derby. I predict that Godzilla will run the Kremlin one day. I predict Godzilla... I'll stop. Anyway, go ahead.
I predict your meds have run out, and that explains a lot of all the stuff that's going on right now. Anyway, so this is a group that they answer to the government, but they kind of don't. And their whole thing is that they study Godzilla, and their thing is that they try to predict where he's going to show up next.
But will they be able to do that if he doesn't show up in Japan?
Well, since he's never shown up anywhere else.
No, but there are other islands around that area that he could go to.
Well,
we've been through that. Hong Kong, the Philippines, the Maldives.
Right.
No, those
fine.
Those are down by Madagascar.
Anyway,
okay. Sorry, okay.
So there's another group of scientists that are part of Crisis Control Intelligence that find...
CCI for short.
Yes. That find a UFO in the Japan Trench. Then they figured that this UFO is 60 million years old. I don't quite know how they figured that, but they do. So
Fairies.
Yes, fairies. That must be it.
No, help from the Peanuts.
They're called the Cosmos.
The Cosmos,
Or the
okay.
Shobijin.
The girls who played them were called the Peanuts. Anyway.
I'm going to call you something else in a minute.
Anyway.
All right. So they decide that they're going to get the UFO out of the trench because they want to study it without it being in a big frickin' trench. Which makes sense. The thing is, when they try to raise it up out of the water, it flies away on its own power. That's odd. Godzilla, meanwhile, has shown up outside of a village and winds up getting in a tussle with the Japan Self-Defense Forces, who have a weapon now called the Full Metal Missiles. Whatever that is. Sounds painful and kind of dirty. Before all the big battle can start, though, the UFO appears, and it seems to be the UFO seems to be kind of studying or scanning Godzilla, like it's trying to find out something about him on a genetic level. Because let's face it, Godzilla's pretty unique when it comes to genetics. It winds up fighting with Godzilla, and it winds up driving him into the ocean again. And then it winds up landing so it can replenish its power, which, as it turns out, is solar power. The person who founded the Godzilla Prediction Network, don't laugh, a person named Yuji Shinoda, finds out that the secret to why Godzilla has these regenerative abilities, which, obviously he would have to have something because he's been hit with everything and the kitchen sink. The problem is that he finds out what that secret is, but also so do the beings inside the UFO.
And what is that secret? He's from Gallifrey.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's called Organizer G1 in the Japanese version. In the American version, it is referred to as Regenerator G1. To be honest, I like that better.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
The UFO breaks away from the JSDF's attempt to, ground it again, and it heads for Shinjuku. And once it gets there, it lands on top of the Tokyo Opera City Tower, and it starts to hack into the computer system, and it hijacks all of the files that the Tokyo computer systems have on Godzilla.
Damn hackers, anyway.
Just those. No credit card numbers, no revenge porn or anything, just info on Godzilla. So
I don't know if that's safer or not, actually.
The UFO starts to change the amount of oxygen content in the surrounding air and stuff. And so the CCI tries to blow the UFO up, and that doesn't work. And Shinoda, who is trying to find out what he can about the aliens, almost gets killed in the explosion because he's a scientist and they never take anything mundane as their own safety into account because reasons. He winds up surviving and is on a rooftop in there with all these other people from the GPN and from the CCI and probably from the JSDF as well. And they're just watching the UFO because now nobody knows what to do. So the UFO winds up broadcasting this message saying, yeah, hi, we're here to invade, and that they're going to create another empire on Earth. And Shinoda finds out, he tells the other people there what he found out. And what he found out is that the reason that the aliens are so interested and so fixated on Godzilla is because they're so specifically interested in the regenerative things that they found out that Godzilla has in his DNA, because they want to use it to reform themselves. They're formless beings right now, and they want to use this energy and Godzilla's ability to regenerate to reform their own physical forms and then, take over the world and those damn aliens. So Godzilla shows up and is all like, not on my watch, and starts fighting with the UFO again. And the problem is he winds up being kind of trounced by the UFO, and it winds up absorbing some of his DNA. And the aliens use the DNA, and they actually change the outside of their ship, and now it's a being called Millennium. And the problem is that the Millennium can't get a firm hold on controlling the power in Godzilla, because of Godzilla's DNA and all that, and it winds up...
And they're not used to it.
And they don't know how to control it, and basically, getting a hold of Godzilla's power and not being able to work it properly would be like you being a human being drinking a tanker truck full of Red Bull. So, it would really screw you up.
So for Millennium, it's morphin' time!
How long have you been waiting to do that?
Well, about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I
have another one I'm waiting to do, too.
Oh joy. And the Millennium winds up mutating into this monster called Orga, which is really ugly. And I realized that was very shallow, but it's my synopsis. I don't care. So Godzilla's like, all right, fine, we're going to do this again. And he winds up, regaining his strength and wrecks the UFO before he winds up fighting with Orga. But the problem is that Orga has absorbed some of Godzilla's regenerative powers through his DNA, and he's not as easy to destroy as everything else Godzilla has run into. And you can tell from the way that this fight is going that Godzilla is getting extremely frustrated.
No, he's getting pissed.
Okay, he's getting pissed. So Orga decides to show what kind of tricks it can pull off, and it manages to steal more of Godzilla's DNA, trying to become a clone of Godzilla. Because that's what we need. Godzilla is completely like, no, I'm not having this. And he winds up getting free from Orga's clutches and setting Orga on fire. What is so funny? Oh, man. Big Titanic.
My head. Anyway, go ahead.
Big Titanic Kaiju Smackdown. He's over there giggling his head off. And Orga manages to somehow not be burned to death and actually tries to devour Godzilla in a scene that's incredibly uncomfortable and more than a little bit awkward.
Nom, 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 nom.
As Orga is trying to, for lack of a better term, eat Godzilla.
Eat Godzilla? Oh.
Well, saying Orga is trying to swallow Godzilla just sounded so wrong in my head.
So did Eat Godzilla. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm really surprised I'm not getting yelled at. And as this is
Family show.
As this is happening, he's starting to change again, trying to become Godzilla's clone. Godzilla winds up using this nuclear pulse that he is able to build up in his body and, uses this to free himself from Orga by completely vaporizing it from the upper part down. And it's kind of gross.
Well, that's what you get.
It's kind of gross, and it's also kind of awesome. The head of CCI, a gentleman named Mitsuo Katagiri, winds up dying when Godzilla finally notices there's some humans on the roof and wrecks it. And that's where he and the other scientists were all standing watching this fight. The members of the cast who wind up not getting killed are talking at the end of the film, talking about Godzilla and how he was created and how he was, how he brings about his destruction and things because of human ambition, Which, if you think about it, is actually accurate, because Godzilla was basically born out of human beings' new and exciting ways to kill each other. Mm-hmm. And so
go ahead.
One of Shinoda makes a remark that Godzilla exists in us, as Godzilla is continuing his march through Tokyo. Because
aren't we all Godzilla after all?
Wow. Okay.
Well, that's basically what it says.
I know.
Thank you, Miss Streep. Anyway.
This is also the movie that completely drives me insane for another reason.
Yeah.
There's a part in the movie where Godzilla's going to face off with Orga, and one of the female characters says something to the effect of, "He's always here he always comes to defend us," or something like that. And every time I hear that line, I just want to scream at the TV.
Especially since this takes place right after Godzilla, the original, and so there's no evidence of that. Well, that would happen later on in the later movies, but not after that first movie, which is where this ended.
He's not defending you, you stupid woman. You're on his turf. Trust me, he doesn't care about you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to start laughing, but something went through my head, and it was like, okay. All I can hear when we started talking about cloning, for some reason, all I started to do was the Constitution song in my head.
What?
We the people, in order
I got it.
In order to clone a more perfect monster. We the people, in order to clone a more perfect monster. Anyway.
You really frightened me, Pinky.
I don't know why that popped into my head.
Other than the fact that you're completely and utterly deranged, I don't.
Miss Pinball Head says.
Well, yeah.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yes, but
you're two hits short of a flipper. Anyway.
You say the sweetest things.
I'm sorry, I gotta be honest. When I saw this movie, I was like, that's awful. I mean,
wow, okay.
I only saw the last 20 minutes of it, and I just was like, oh man, really? Okay.
Wow, alright, well, I don't think it's as bad as you do.
I think the effects were terrible. I'm sorry. That's just me. I'm like, what I saw of it, what I remember seeing of it, so.
Okay.
There's that. So what were you about to say?
I was going to say, I don't think it's as terrible as you do. I don't.
I don't really think it's terrible. I just thought that the end of it was bad because I didn't see the rest of the film.
Well, that could be.
Fair enough,
you know? Yeah, I suppose that could be.
There was supposed to be a sequel to this film. A movie that was to be called, would have shared the same tongue-in-cheek tone as Godzilla 2000, which I thought was this movie. Would have involved with Godzilla appearing in Hawaii to battle a new foe named Miba, which was envisioned as a flying lava monster resembling a bat. It was written by American Michael Schlesinger, and was to be directed by Joe Dante. That's freaking terrifying!
Well, yeah, it is. I was just happy to have Godzilla back. That was just, that was me, and I was excited and happy.
I know.
So.
That's because you're so, Godzilla-centric.
Yeah, I am. I admit it. I don't care. Don't judge me.
Tomorrow we move into the Millennium period a little further with the 24th Godzilla film in the lineup, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Now, I haven't seen this one. Is that like a big version of Anguirus, or
no?
Okay,
no, I don't think so. I don't know if I've seen this one. I actually don't think I have. Strangely enough.
We got a problem then. We're gonna just have to wing it. Sorry, folks. We're trying to do our best. She's really seen most of these.
I think I might have seen more than half of this one.
Well, that's something then. At least you have a little bit of experience.
Yeah.
Don't forget, as always, we are, as I said at the top of the show, we are headed toward May 31st, less than 10 days away now, and the premiere of Legendary's new Godzilla King of the Monsters, which she can't wait for, and it's got good reviews. The trailers are really interesting, and we hope that you are looking forward to it. Oh, excuse me. As much as we are, we'll be there. We're not going to make the same mistake we made with Avengers Endgame.
No.
As much as I love that theater, the crowd was kind of dead for us. We're used to the big, noisy crowds.
We're used to people reacting.
Yeah. They reacted a little bit, but not as much as we would have expected.
No.
So, kind of took some of the punch out of it, but it was good. And we know that Revere's audiences will be great for this because they were the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, another one coming its way tomorrow, right here on the Godzilla Show, 31 Days of Godzilla, the Big G, Tokyo Town StompDown. Until tomorrow, I'm TC Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown from Subject Cinema, Kaiju Corner at eCinemaOne.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.